All right, so just a quick check if everything is working. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second party today. Oh, that sounds good. Fantastic. Can I hear the music? Oh, that sounds good. No, sorry, maybe push up the music a little bit, just a little bit. So, fantastic, great to see you all. As you can see already, I was working in the background. I wanted to start up the application, but I forgot again that the version 1.2 was already out, right? Hey Xaxa, hey Robert, hey everyone. You don't know anymore what is on your PR. Well, we can change that. I can share it with you. You gave some very great content or very good ideas that I can take a look into. And I think we can pass one by one of them. And after that, what we want to do is, of course, deploying everything again. So make a rebase, and then we have so many options that we can do. And for that, if we take a look, I switch right now to the here. So we got also from Yahoo 1031, who is Minu. I don't know if you know him from Twitter. He created us a very nice issue that we can work on. So he found out that the Jumbotron, so that little text, is a bit waggy, and we will work on that too, or we can work on that too. Additionally, as promised, I created inside of projects now the Flutter redesign, where I just added some ideas or to-dos that we want to work on. So if you have any ideas or what we have to do next, it would be fantastic if you can add an issue here. So what do we do today? That is a good question. First of all, we will work on the PR that I right now posted. So this one here, sorry. So if we go to the pull request, you remember from the last time we had this improve responsiveness, and we got some minor things from Robert that I would like to fix and make better. And then I don't know if we should write tests or if we should work on something else. So what I would like to do is asking you that question. So I would like to do this. Then after that, the issue that Minu created for us, because it's a small thing that we can, I think, fix very easily. And after that, we can work on whatever comes next, because we still want to work with Strappy, right? So we also want to implement our headless CMS. So maybe a demo page for our blog, so for our future blog, would be very interesting to see how it works. Or what do you think about this plan? Happy with it or not so much? In the meantime, here everything is running. Yeah, I made this morning the upgrade to version 1.2. So it could be that our project also has some additional problems now. And I see right now that the screen that I see on top is not perfectly aligned. So sorry for the hassle here. So, and stretch. So that looks better, I think. Sounds good, fantastic. And what I also can do when I'm on the configurations right now, sorry for that you have to see that all the time. I want to switch to a larger screen size so that you can read easier. But that will also change my stuff here. We are getting better with everything. It's so good. Up. Hey Minu! Yep. Thank you once more for your issue. Hola, ¿qué tal? Stretch the screen. Yeah, fantastic. ¿Qué tal means how are you? I hope at least. So you see some of the tools taking longer, like 1 minute now to download. Indexing everything. So I'm really looking forward to it today because I really want to see how the website is going further. We will have a look into the issue and then we'll work on that. I think that's the best solution, right? And on the other hand, somehow I'm already on the master channel here, which is also not good. What was the, from the issue, we have to improve responsiveness. So I think we should go also into the branch. I'm at the wrong project. Guys. Okay, Flutter Doctor is successful, that's fantastic. Then we can switch the task to Flutter Explained Website. Here we go. So, and then let's work through the different parts of Robert's comments. I think that would be the first part, so that we can merge this PR and this branch here into it. So what is the first thing? Consider setting this in the theme of the app. That way you won't have to specify the color for scaffold all the time. That makes a lot of sense, I think, if the background color of the scaffold is always white. So that makes sense. For that, we have to figure out what is the scaffold background color. And maybe some of you know that, I don't know that. So theme data, Flutter, scaffold background. This is the background color property. Theme color, scaffold background color, it seems. Okay, let's check that. So if you remember, we have this theme.dart where we currently use that light theme part. And here we have a lot of copy with stuff. And inside of this copy with, we find maybe a scaffold background color, which is in our case color 0xFF. Fantastic. And this is a const, of course. And I add a comma here. And with that, we can remove the other thing. Yep, I think the default one is even white, but I just want to make that here so that if it's changed, then we can change it everywhere right away without going anywhere else. So, and this means that in our home screen, for example, where we have this background color set, we can just remove it because we use that background color anyway as the default. Colors white is also working, but my problem is with colors.white. As far as I know, this is not a const. But yeah, so it's a static const, so it is a const. Didn't say anything. Opaque white, this is a good contrasting color. Yup. Fantastic. Sure, copy with is a fantastic function which can do a lot for you. So let's jump right into it because that is usually the best thing to do. So you remember that we have with the theme data.light, we get a theme data that has a lot of stuff already inside. So if we jump here a bit around, you see that this light part is created with all these values. So like focus color, background color, scaffold colors, and so on and so forth. And these are the default values that are set, right? That you don't have to set for the theme data light, but that are set for you already from the Flutter team. So now this copy with creates you a whole new object from that theme data, and it puts all the values that have been already in this light part inside, and whatever you write now down here inside of that will be overwritten. So that means in our case, the scaffold background color in theme data.light would be, for example, I have to check. Let's see if we find that. Scaffold background color, exactly, is set to the canvas color. And if we check the canvas color, we will find most likely somewhere that the canvas color is gray 50 or 850. So it is not white, which is already impressive. So this means this canvas color will now be taken as an override, exactly. So we override this parameter, scaffold background color, with white. What we also could do is override the canvas color, because we learned now that the canvas color is the same thing like the scaffold background color. But why I'm not doing this is because it is not expressive for me enough. So I know exactly, okay, scaffold background color is for the scaffold, but any canvas color, I could not refer where the canvas is everywhere, because I think it is nearly everywhere. So makes that sense? So now we have the scaffold background color in white and everything else sticks the same. Cool, no worries. So with that, we can remove that here. And what I will do as always is I give a thumbs up for I worked on that and I resolve that conversation. And with that, Git knows now, okay, I worked on that and Robert can sleep better. And what I also will do is I will give that everywhere viewed. And oops, let's check if I have it viewed. Yep, looks good. So it's also done. This one is resolved, so we can also give here a viewed. And so this is how I usually go through the PRs when I'm working on them. So that is good. Did we have here anything? No, it's also fine. formatting, add a comma. Very good. So we can do that. So in our max width container, let's search for the file, max width container. We have down here a comma missing, and we can give again a thumbs up and resolve it. Hey Ayush, congratulations to your announcement in Flutter 1.20. I see it in your Medium article that you get announced as a contributor, as a new one. So congratulations to that. That was fantastic. It's quite an honor, I can imagine. Rename the test. It's copied from above. This is a very good point, and I think we really should work on that. So we have for this a test, right? Yep. Should only allow a certain amount of width. Okay. What happens here? So we have a very large width device here, and then we just checked all that stuff. You're very welcome. Well deserved, I would say. And after that, we get the size and check that. Okay, that is the test that you wrote. So should only allow a certain amount of width. Yeah, should only allow the width that is set below 1200. So in our case it would be 800, and this is below that 1200, so it's, or yeah, I think that makes sense. Should take the full screen width as the size. I think that makes sense. Good. Okay, so and I am on the right branch. You can see that in improved responsiveness, and also here I am on the right branch. And let's check the last few files. They look good, and this is also fine. So what we can do is now push that PR with PR review, for example. And we can push the whole thing. And what will happen now, thanks to the magic of GitHub, usually we should see right away the updated files. Yep, and now you see all the comments that Robert gave us are outdated. That means something has changed in the meantime. All right, so I could ask Robert once more if he wants to review everything, but I think we are happy here now. Hey Musa, nice to see you. And what I will do now is I will squash and merge. So if you click on that arrow on the right, you find 3 parts that you can do. Create a merge commit, which is just you merge the pull request like it is. That means all the history that you created here, in our case, made the home screen, removed unused test, improved the widget tree, and so on and so forth, will be part of your pull request. And you will create from these things a merge, another commit, which will be merged, and then you put them inside. Then you have the possibility of squash and merge. You take all your commits that you have inside of this PR, squash them together into like any how many files you want or lines you want, and this one will be the only thing that is visible later in the history. And the last is rebase and merge, and if I'm right, from this branch will be rebased and added to the base branch. It will be part on top of it. So in my opinion, I will take the squash and merge because I don't want to have that PR reviewed, improved, and so on. This is not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in improved responsiveness and added hero image and made the home screen more responsive, and the max width container is important for us. So confirm it, squash and merge. And now I will delete right away the branch because I don't need that branch anymore on the repository. So with that, we have finally merged it. You can see it also here. And if we jump now into the code and we look in one of the files that we worked on, you can see we have only number 3 commit. It's our 3rd commit. And we see that it is improve responsiveness and edit hero image. And that's everything. There is nothing else part of it. Additionally, you can see up here in master, we have only 2 branches at the moment. One is edit documentation and the other one is master. So, fine. Locally you can see locally that we still have that MD Weber improved responsiveness. which is perfectly fine. So I just check out master branch, press now Command T to get the newest data from the internet, so from our last commit. And you can see 16 files updated, 1 commit. And we can delete the improved responsiveness branch. Amazing. So in the meantime, that you also can see something, I'm opening up our macOS desktop part. Let's see, it will also download a little bit. I'm sorry for that. Just the first time that we work on the new version of Flutter 1.20. So that could take a while. In the meantime, we can maybe have a look into the issue that Minnow created, because that was a very cool finding. Sadly, wait, I just check if I can find on Twitter the message that he sent me, because there was a small video that I can maybe share with you. So bring that down and opening that up. So if you take a look here and you have a very close look on that part here, you will see developer is fine. Now it's getting a small push to the bottom and then it's getting up again. So it is a very minor thing, but you can see it actually. And I found it very interesting that Minnow found this problem. So I will try to get rid of that as soon as our part is here. Fantastic. So let's see, when we make this a bit smaller. So on the macOS it seems, no, it jump around. So we don't want that. Should I work on beta? I can also switch that. At the moment I'm working on master, that's true. It's maybe not the best solution. We could change that now, but then we have to run again. Do you run the tests in DartVM or on the browser? I think in DartVM, I'm not sure. What do you mean with that? With the tests in DartVM? Yeah, that's true. Also, what I had once is that you have, if you are working on master, that you get some deprecate messages, and I couldn't find out why I get them. Okay, anyhow, let's try to fix that problem now that everything is running. So that means when we have that a bit smaller, then it starts to wiggle around and jump around. And the problem is that it doesn't have a defined height, I think, from the personal feeling, I think. So let's see what Minnow wrote us. Hola, sir. I have recently found an issue with the content text widget. All right. The error here, okay. Oh, look at that. We have even the file here. So you can find that also, right? You can share that issue with the chat. Let's see somehow. So here we go. So it seems only in responsive small mode, right? If it's very small, but still there we have the jumping around. It needs a little adjustment. So he's also giving us the possibility, he found already a solution for that, it seems. Wrap fitted box with an expanded widget, or please kindly try this. Okay, so it seems that this fitted box jumps around, and his solution for that is to have an expanded widget surrounding it. So how do we proceed with that? First of all, I would create a branch for that. So we go in our IDE or favorite IDE, and I will just say branches, and here we can create a new branch. That would be my name, my GitHub name, and I always make these slashes. It's just a convention that I'm getting used to. It's not necessary. You can also just name the branch like the feature you want to have. And in our case, it will be fitted box jumps or fitted box fix. Fantastic. So now what we can try is that fitted box should be in our home page, right? Home content here. Where do we find that? Inside of the Jumbotron. Here we have the fitted box, and I think that to-do can be gone, right? We don't need that anymore. We have already that rotation text. Okay, and this fitted box should be now in an expanded. Let's see, do we have other children? We have text, flat button. Okay, it could move a little bit. We can do that in a second, Xaxa. I just want to finish that one off. Then we can talk a little bit about Git, if this is okay for everyone. Really? That is pretty amazing. So that means if I'm running Flutter test, current directory, okay, it's running into the testing framework. You can see that. These are all the tests that we have. And now with platform, we can specify the web. Flutter test platform web maybe. Web is not allowed, value for platform. Okay. Sad. Okay, so yeah, expanded would work, but as you can see with the expanded, we have a lot of space. And interesting enough, it still jumps a little. You see that font size here is a little bit smaller. Okay, so Flutter test -- platform equals Chrome. Let's see what the result is here. So we download the web SDK, that's important. Exactly. So how can you think about branches? Branches is quite a lot. Actually, it's important to know how these repositories are actually working, because a repository is your space for a project. So, right, you have, for example, you have created a repository like this one, and then you click on fork. Then you would create that whole repository with all its code, and it's getting a real physical copy of the whole project. And branches are now exactly the same, but in a smaller context. So not inside of a repository, but it is a branch, which is like you cut your own branch and then you can work on that. So you can't destroy anything. And then you can bring that back. And this bringing back called merged. Exactly. So, or you can rebase it in the words, or also as a possibility. I'm using mostly merging. I don't know if there is a good reason for that. It's just what I learned. So I just stick with it so far. And yeah. Oh, and now we had a Chrome running and all tests are passing. Cool. Thank you so much for this information. I didn't know that there are different testing possibilities. Now I'm a bit curious, and I hope you are okay with it, that I'm testing a bit around when I'm going into that MaxWift container. And I will run my tests here locally. This is of course now from how do you call it? IntelliJ. Then we can here edit the configurations. And what I would like to look at is how does it calls the whole thing. So we have the testing files, okay. But it seems that it is this part here is in the Dart VM, not in a specific platform. So we mostly have to run that somehow differently. Interesting. Thank you, Ayush. That is very good to know. Is that a new feature or is that already existed a long time ago? So I just dropped some browsers. Okay, back to our problem here. So that seems that this font size is getting jumpy. So what would be good, instead of having here fitted expanded, I think that is unfortunately not the right tool for us. Let me think quickly. So this fitted box would be amazing to have like a min width, a min height, right? That it has always at least this space, whatever it does. So in order to have a min width, height, we would wrap the whole thing in a constraint box. Well, I will do that right now. If you have a better idea, we can also do that. So we have constraints, which are box constraints, right? And with that, we receive, for example, max width, which is the infinity size, right? And we have the min height, which would be around, let's say, 300. Maybe not the best number, but we will take a look. So if we jump over, we can see it takes now exactly 300, but still the font is jumping. So maybe this is a problem with the width. So because the length of the text that we have here is sometimes smaller and sometimes bigger. Nice. Could that be a problem with the what, does it now work? No, it's still jumpy. So the YouTuber seems to be a problem. Okay, also this constraint box really doesn't help. It's more a problem with the font sizing, I think. If the font size is not big enough, then it's changing all the time. Yeah, as long as it has enough space, it's fine. It's only if it's getting too small. So after a certain amount of space, we would have to make an if condition here. Interesting. This rotated animated text widget, text kit, can we set a max width or something on that? Or maybe some constraints? Transition height, okay, so we can set this. Duration on tab, text alignment, repeat forever. No. So maybe we have just to pass that rotated animated text widget and then give it Maybe this is also more a problem about the text, that rotated widget that we use. Oops. Rotated, or what is the name of that tooling that we used? I think it's text, animated text or something. Yep, the animated text kit. And maybe they are already aware of that, so let's see. Curves animation, timer not disposed, request animation of any type. Okay, that's a little bit sad. Then let's think about it. What can we do? No, it has nothing to do with Flutter, actually. If it has something to do, it is more the rotated animated text. I think the problem is here the fitted box, right? Because this gets like 100% of the width. It tries to reach that font size of 84. But the problem is at the moment that these two are, or better, because we changed the state of the font here, it looks like it's jumpy a little bit. So it is more the try of getting responsive here. So I would say when we do something like that, maybe what we should actually do is getting rid of the animation whenever we are a small thing. Oh well, mobile or responsive design is always a hard thing, actually. I know everyone says media queries are the solution on CSS, but even there you have sometimes some stuff that doesn't work out. On smaller devices we can just use a smaller font. That would be the easiest part, I think. So where do we actually say that, which level this is? What we could do is we could wrap this, I think that fitted box here on a responsive widget. And say if we are on a large, we have it this way. So if we have a desktop body, we just show the fitted box with everything. Let me quickly think about it. Now it would be good that we have something inside of the responsive widget, like where we just pass the different font sizes inside. Because now what I would have to do is I had to copy the whole thing. I think that makes no sense. I think then we can maybe work with the layout builder or something. I have to think about it. So let's get rid of that once more, because that makes no sense. It's too heavy for that whole thing. So, and here inside, yeah, that row has to be inside of something. Yeah, we could also stop the animation, but I think that would be too harsh, right? Yeah, media queries and layout builder, that sounds like the option that I would like to use. So that means whenever we come to a specific size of the screen or a specific spacing, it would be good if we could get the size of this container here. So if this container receives a certain width. And for that, I think we can use the layout builder. Let's check that quickly. This is a builder which has a context and returns a row. It gets also constraints, I think. So let's check in the layout builder what exactly that does, just to read it once more. So some text here. Builds a widget tree that it can depend on the parent's widget size. Exactly what I want. So we want to depend on the parent's widget size. So if that's getting a bit too small, then we want to react. YouTube video, fantastic. This example uses layout builder, all right. So we have a layout builder, we get the constraints, and if this constraint's max width is bigger than 600, we do one thing, or if it's smaller, then we do something else. So exactly what we want, actually. We have the constraints. Is constraints a good name? How did they call it? Constraints, okay, lucky me. So here we would do inside of that, what I will do is I will transform this this normal or arrow, fat arrow function. I will convert that to a block body out of the reason because I want to have that on top, how we calculate that stuff. So we want to have the font size, and this one is var, or better, it's a double, I think. This is dependent on the constraints width, max width. And if the width is bigger, then let's say, let's stick with the 600, right? It could fit, let's see. So if it is bigger than 600, it will be 84. Else we have like 24. So now we replace this 84 with the font sizing. Whew. And now let's see what happens after a while. Did it work? Maybe I have to restart because the widget tree changed. Main 4. We can remove that. And I will just rebuild. Wait, was my logic wrong? There should be like now a breaking point or anything where it's really getting very small. So, no, this is something else. So what I want to try is now making it very small, like 8 pixels or something. And this can be final, sure. No. Okay, I will make a complete restart. And what I also will do is I will print the constraints here with the width, because I would be, well, I want to know what is the width of that. I should avoid prints. Okay, I keep that. I hope it's okay for you that I'm talking so much. It's just yeah, I think that is the benefit of the live streams, that I really bring everything inside and talk once more about this stuff. K-tablet variable, do we have that somewhere? Is that part of the responsive widget? Or do I have that even in my constants? So that's a good point. Let's check that. So somewhere I hopefully have our constants file. Oh no, I don't have that. Interesting. So, and just say if it's bigger than that. Okay. So instead of having this, so instead of this here, you mean tablet, right? ktablet breakpoint. Okay, so it's 680. Thank you. Yeah, it's inside of the responsive class. Fantastic. So if it is bigger than the max width, so use your ktablet variable. We did that. And just say if it is smaller than. So let's try it smaller than. Wait, did I do that wrong? Wait, if the constraint's max width, so we have like a space of 680, for example, and then we are smaller than the... Yeah, which makes sense, of course. Thank you. All right, so let's have a look. Oh yeah, you see it's getting super small, and I assume now, because it is small here, the breakpoints here, they are a common thing, so you can decide on when you want to break. You could also create multitude of these, right? Because desktop breakpoints, for example, is 1280 at the moment, but there are also Mac OS systems with 5,000 or 6,000 pixels. So there could be also like very large desktop breakpoints with 3,800 or something. So it is just where we define inside of our application when we want to make these different breakpoints. And I think this is like from responsive web. I think there you will find these common responsive breakpoints here. I hope I explained it correctly, Robert. So in the meantime, our font size here, 84, yeah, it's getting a bit too small, I think. 24 is fine. And then we have that. And the animation looks much smoother and less disturbed here. So if it's getting even smaller, then we jump again. But I think for a normal logo, I think we should maybe create also a third one. So we have this, and maybe we should change that to an if-else case in that case. So we would say if it is... what we could do, because we will have these headline things all over, we could create also a helper function somewhere that helps us with these different breakpoints and returns us the right font sizes. For now I will keep that. So we change that final here. And this print here can be gone. We don't need that anymore. So if the max width is smaller than the tablet breakpoint, we have a font size of 84. Else from 24. Is that correct? Yeah. So when do we get bigger? Does it work even? Nah. Okay, something is wrong. Okay, now it's big, and if we get smaller... What do I wrong? Let's print the constraints once more. Yeah, it's because my German thing. In Germany, we tell the numbers in the wrong number. So, for example, in English, you would say 1280 or 1280, right? Or no, it's a bad example. Let's think about 31, for example. It's in Germany the opposite. So we say first the 1 and then we say the 3. So 31. And this makes it very difficult sometimes for me to think in the right direction. But why is it not? So we make one of them again very small. So now it's very big, and only if it's big enough. No. That's interesting. Why is it not showing us the right? In Dutch too? Okay. So you know the hassle, I think. Rendering problems, okay, but why don't we get the print here? Arabic as well, really? Wait, let me think. I can't count till 10 in Arabic. I just Wahed is 1, I think, and I don't know what 2 means. A long time I was in Morocco where I learned counting, and I think I counted till 5. So at least we tried. At least we tried. So I don't know why we don't get we get infinity. Ah, we get infinity. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I will copy that. I assume that this fitted box somehow is infinity sized, but this, wait, makes that sense? That highly depends on what the customer wants, right? So if the customer is happy that I really build it for everything, and I highly recommend to do that usually, then yes, I will really create that for multiple project sizes. Especially in web, if I'm working on web, then this is most of the time my bread and butter, I would say. For Flutter, it's still new for me, so I'm always a bit struggling, but on the web, I really have to do that everywhere. I thought that layout builder getting rebuilt whenever something changed, right? So that's also why we see the number here everywhere. Interesting enough, it's getting always infinity, right? Oh, it's not getting re-triggered. Why is it not getting re-triggered? I assumed that. Let's check out the layout builder once more. Creates a widget that defers its building until layout. Okay. Except the framework calls the builder function at layout time and provides the parent's widget constraint. This is useful when parent constrains the child size and doesn't depend on the child's interesting size. Okay. Very good, very good. Can't complain. So now we have infinity, but if I make it smaller, it does not re-trigger the build function. And even further? No. So what would happen if I take all that stuff out now with that font size and I use instead of this no, why is it not re-triggering? What? Yeah, I think that is correct, Robin. Yeah, maybe this is the problem. It's just somehow weird because the fitted, is it? Yeah, could be. Let's check it out. I think that's the only resort that I currently still have, so I hope they're best. So we have this, we have that row, children. Oh, I deleted something important, I assume. This is the right one. And instead of font size, we have 84. What is here wrong? Yeah, there's a... No. Okay. Good. So now we have our old stuff back. And now the fitted box seems to have infinity size. And what do we have below? We have a text. This is a column and a row. But the problem is I can't build it for these two only, right? Then I would need two of them. That would be a bit too much in my opinion. This column here is the column on that side, right? So maybe this could be the part where we can use the layout builder. Maybe not beautiful, but let's see. Context and constraints. And we return. I don't think that would change something because I think that, yeah, we can expand the fitted box, but the problem with that would be that we use the whole space. So this text and this button would be on the bottom here. I think that would not look that beautiful. I think that is already the right way to go. And I want to switch that again to a block convert. So quite a lot now inside, but that's okay. And now we want to take the whole font sizing back. And I hope now, let's see if this changed now something. Whoops, font size, right? Here we go. So now it's very small. Do we have any point in time something changes there? No. So if we go now into these constraints and print them, max width. Now we get a number, 300 at the moment. So this is 300. Cool. So at least something. So if I make it bigger, what do we receive? So we receive for every build, we receive a new number because it changed. And before it was always double infinity. And if double infinity and double infinity is equal, so it didn't rebuild the screen. So this makes way more sense. Now we just have to find the right breakpoints, right? So in our case, font size will be always initialized with 84 because it's our default, right? So we then even don't need else part, most likely. We need it. We could create a switch statement. Yes, Robert, absolutely. But we had it below the fitted box. And I think the problem with the below the fitted box was that the constraints was always infinity. And the parent is smaller than the whole screen. Yeah, that's true. Completely agree. So we have 48. We come into this part here. So we are on tablet breakpoint at the moment. Turn your operators slowly because we want to have it also for mobile. So now let's think about it. So at the moment we have a max of 514 because at the moment we only rebuild the half of it. So we have to take media query off. I think. Do we? No, I think we can just say that is true. So that's fine. So that means we can't compare with the breakpoints because we only get this part here. But if I use the media query off, then it will work. But this would mean that layout builder is not needed, or the media query off would rebuild anyway. So I will remove that builder again. Yep. So let me just try this, if this works easier. Yeah, cool. So here we are. And instead of this, we will use now media query off context. And with that, we get, for example, the whole screen size of our application. So we can ask for the size and ask then for the width. And if it is smaller than k tablet breakpoint, for example, we return here question mark. We return here 48, or else we would return 24. So it looks a bit ugly, but it could work. Let's see. So now this one is small, right? Because it has enough space. So if the width is smaller than the tablet breakpoint, then we show this. But now it should be bigger, right? No, the opposite. Okay, so now it's big, and if I'm going small, it's getting small. Fantastic. And now, instead of doing that all the time, what I could do, exactly, I could do it in a build. So I could do that and give here the final fonts. I can use final font size for now. And this is a double, which is easy. And this font size could be a part of here now. And the same thing for the 48. A new subscriber to our channel. And my computer freeze for a second, okay. Bad ideas. Hey, WinDev. All right, but now we have only these two variables, right? 24 and bigger. And it looks a bit funky if it's getting rebuilt, but that's okay, I think. Only smallest devices. So if we have a mobile device, then it's getting a bit cranky. Like here, I think that would be mobile. But anyway, I think in mobile, we will reorder the behavior here in general. So we don't want to keep that on the right side and on the left. It would be then stacked on bottom of each other. So I would be happy with that for now. What do you say? All happy with that? So what did we do actually that we can also make it a bit understandable? So this media query of context rebuilds all the time. Still exists, yeah. Does it? So this is fine, and if we are getting smaller, like here, it should be okay, hopefully. Only if we're getting in mobile screens, it's getting a bit cranky. As soon as the fitted box is automatically starting to take over, I think. So, and what I want to explain is this media query of size context starts to recreate all the time. Just change the layout. Okay, I don't know how I want to do that for the tablet at the moment, right? So, I don't know. Maybe for the tablet we can keep it for that, because I could imagine this is still a good working experience. On the other hand, it looks pretty ugly. Yeah, so I think most likely we will change the layout completely anyway, but for now we can keep that. And this media query of context will always re-trigger the build function inside where it is inside whenever the size or the width is changing. And the k tablet breakpoint comes from our responsive. These are the two numbers that are getting returned, and we can receive the font size. And just to make this a bit more expressive, I would like to create a variable for that we call check for tablet screen size. So, and then it looks a bit more cleaner. Okay. So what I will add here is a to-do, change the layout for the different parts and remove it. True. Mm-hmm. So you mean you can create an extension method for media query, or how do you mean? Yeah, I think so. But that would be a cool solution, I think. Of the context, so that it works more like getX or VeloCDX, right? So I think they do that heavily. Okay. So now we have still a lot of things to do, right? Actually, we solved at least one problem, but I don't know if it really solved something, right? As someone said, we have that problem. So what I would like to do, instead of doing this, I would change the layout actually. I think that solves the issue really, because this is just a hack somehow. It doesn't feel right because now we change the font size, but actually nothing has really helped here. So if we are coming into tablet, it still doesn't look quite nice, right? So as a tablet owner, I would say, what have changed here? Why have I why look this way? And in the smallest devices, it's even worse. So what I will do now is I will remove that. I will change that to 48 here, back for now. And what we will do is we will try to change the layout on the different parts. So to make it correct, or it solves really the problem. Exactly, this is what I would also like to do now. So we have the home content here, but here also we just take these parts with the different parts. Flutter is bnode. Is that something bad? Okay, I think I have to kick him. Okay, sorry for that. My first troll? No, my second troll. I already deleted someone. Okay, where have we been exactly? So we have the possibility of these two expanded with Jumbotron and Hero Image, but inside of our home screen, is it, I think? Navigator expanded, mix with container with the home content. Exactly, here have we the responsive widget. And inside of here, this home content would maybe have to change in multiple ways. So the first one is this with the row here. And then we could, is that the second one? Sorry for that. Okay, so here we have the mobile body, and we can also add now a desktop body and so on and so forth. And our mobile body is actually not correct. So this would be our desktop body. And our mobile body has to look a little bit different. And how can we change that? One option would be that we create a second home content for now, so that this would be our desktop home. And this would be our mobile home, more or less. The problem with that is we have at the moment this home content here. So also this would change, right? So we have to, that would be our desktop content or desktop home. It's just a thinking, we can still change that, right? So if you have a better idea, we keep it with that, but this is what I think at the moment. So we would create also for the others, like for example, mobile home, now our own file, which is then mobile home, for example. And we can import material, for example. Jesus. Okay, so in mobile home, then instead of, like we have it here with that expanded, in the desktop, we have a row here. Now we would have, instead of a row, a column in that place. So we could even keep the container and everything. And I don't know if I like that, we have to copy too much, but let's think about it. It's just a try. So we could copy that here and keep the decoration. And instead of having a row here, we would have a column. Now, of course, the expanded wouldn't work anymore because the expanded wouldn't push the whole thing to a max size. On the other hand, it could even work. I don't know. Let's see first before I tell something. So now we created them. And here the mobile home we can import. And I have to change the music because it drives crazy. First the chat, now the music. Sorry for that. Yeah, way better. All right, so we have the desktop and the mobile. Or is it better? Good. So this mobile home has now the column, and now it looks broken, which makes sense because the background image is at the moment an image, right? And it's no elements. But what we see is that the different parts are stacked now. So that means the text is on top and then we have the image on the bottom. For the big screen, it looks pretty ugly, but if we make it smaller, you know, then we're coming better in a better way, actually. So, and what I would like to do is putting the image on top and the text on the bottom, because usually it is that way. So what I will do is just pushing them up and down. You can see that slightly. And here we are. So that could be the better option, I think. But I don't know why it's taking so much space. Maybe we have now to constrain that a little bit, or we have to change these here to what we have, or what do we want to have actually. So how big should that image be and how much size should it take? So, but for smaller things, you see it works already pretty fine. I think that background decoration has currently that image just, so what we could do is just removing that. I know we don't need that container here. So And now it's getting a bit cleaner. So for mobile devices, it's automatically designed now. I think it would also work on a mobile phone, actually. Pretty cool. The only thing is what I don't know, how we can improve that image up here. It takes too much space on the bottom. So what I would like to do, instead of using expanded, we use a flexible. And then we remove that flex on top of here. And now I would like to see how it looks. Okay, that's maybe too small. If I make it a 6, it looks a bit better, I think, right? So you see the image getting smaller and bigger as soon as we change it, which is actually what we want. And another thing that I would like to do is adding a little bit of padding on the left and the right, because it looks like it is very thick on the walls or sticked on the walls. So this Jumbotron here has that column, and I assume I would give that whole column a, oh yeah, I think I give the whole thing a padding, because we have here symmetric and there we have horizontal, right? Horizontal from, for example, 8, 16. So, and now it has a bit more space, it looks fine, and this is important. So we are not that granular, so we don't have so much flexibility, because in the very big screens now, we want to actually show it again with the columns. So it's interesting that it doesn't work, right? I would assume that it automatically re-triggers. But I assume that has something to do that we don't use in our home screen. How does the responsive widget behave at the moment? What are the breakpoints? 1000, 20, 80. And we are taking the information from the layout builder. So actually it should rebuild. But we come to the same problem like we did before. If you remember, I think that max width container, how does this behave? It just pushes to the maximum of 28 from 1000 to 100. And what we could do is using here the desktop breakpoint. So now we have it in a column and now we're in a row. So it is very cool that we did that this way. And I think it is not quite where we want to have it. The problem is actually that my screen size is exactly 1280. So I think we wrapped it in the wrong way, if this makes sense. Shoot. So this max width container is a great idea to concentrate our stuff inside of that part. And I think that was a wrong thing, because we want to have the content always to be 1200. But because we work with the layout builder here inside of the responsive widget, we have now the problem that it will always be a maximum of 1200. So we check that out down here in that layout builder where we build it, and we say diamonds max width, and we just print that here. You see we have 1200, and if I make it now smaller, interesting enough, it's getting smaller than 1200, but it's getting never above 1200. So this is a bit unlucky. On the other hand, what I would like to see actually, yeah, on the other hand, that's fine. I think that makes sense. So inside of our home screen, we have somehow to change the order of that. Two small screens, such yes, yes and no. As I said, because this max width container restricts at the moment the layout builder inside of the responsive widget, it gets a problem there. I think we have to wrap the responsive widget inside the max width container inside of the responsive widget, if this makes sense. But let's see, if I remove that and I wrap this one here with a max width container. So you see, now we have the possibility, and if I get smaller, it works. Because the layout builder underneath understands it now correctly. Sorry, just a little bit of stretching, but I don't sleep. So Now we have changed a lot of stuff, but you see the size is now correct. So our layout builder understands correctly what happens. So we can remove that print here again. And this looks pretty awesome already. So we can use that. What I don't like is if we are getting a bit too small, it would be fantastic if we get also here a fitted box surrounding the Flutter explained so that it's also getting smaller. Just if someone overtakes it and makes it too small, then it looks always right. So where do we have it? I think in the navigation bar, we have the part with our logo. This is the text and it has a padding. And if we have both of, oh, what was that? Okay, so then we want to have that in a fitted box. So, and if we make it smaller, nothing happens. Fantastic. It's not the padding should not be part of it. I think it's just the text that has to be wrapped in a fitted box. Still not? Not reload. Let's try it. Nope. Wait, no, we had something else. Or what did we do with the other screens? So if we go here inside, oh no, we had that fitted box. So we have our row and a padding. So here we have our row, fitted boxes surrounding the row. Maybe we have to do the same here. So this part gets a fitted box. Okay. And then we also have to give a little bit of padding on the back. So what that means is here instead of only, we would have a vertical. No, not a vertical, symmetric. And instead of top, we have vertical. Did it work? So, not really, not quite. No, wait. Okay, we do that back because that top is more for pushing it in the text a little bit to the bottom, that it looks aligned. But if we want to have some padding around the text here, we have to give it here down. No. We have to give it the row. So that would mean we have here asymmetric again and vertical of 8. So how did I manage to center it now? Main axis alignment start. Let's see if this helps us. But this is the default, so that will not help us. A fitted box plus padding is center. Okay. It looks good, but it's not the solution that I wanted. So was it now surrounding the padding? No, padding is fine. No, this is for the max width, that's fine. But this fitted box? Okay, the fitted box is the problem. And if we wrap the fitted box here inside, this is now a bit trial and error. So our fitted box takes the full width of the thing, so we have to the row flex too. I think I can't. The question is the fitted box. I would like to say that it starts on the left. Is it the alignment maybe that I say alignment dot start or the left? That would be center left. Whoops. Center left. Let's see. No. Fill? Hey, totally. Huh. So you would give that row a flex? I could make that an expanded, but I don't know if this... No, I don't. Okay, so let's careful. First, check what happens here. Why is that a problem actually? So we checked that with the Flutter inspector. And now I would like to know what happens with these elements here inside. So can I select the logo? Like that, yep. So now we have here the row that is currently living in an expanded and in a fitted box. The alignment is center, which is not what I want to, I think. I just sent it via Twitter. I think that would be the easiest way, Nickel. Well, I don't know. Yes, I like music. Who doesn't? Directionality. Fit contain. So fit is contain and alignment. So if we say the box fit should fill, right? And then we say the alignment should be alignment dot center left. And we reload. Nothing changed somehow. Nope, doesn't work. How does it work and why does it not work like I expected that? How much space does the fit? That's a good question. Let me check. I recreated stuff. Get all back. Oops. So, and let's check again. Flutter inspector, not the other one. Here we go. Receive the image. Cool. Fitted box. So where do I see the width of that fitted box? It looks that it doesn't take the whole space that it could take. So maybe we have to wrap it in a container? No. We could expand it. But what is the reason? Is it the padding? Padding also not get full width. Then we have a constrained box with the max width. Constrained box? Ah, because of the max width container, okay. So the max width container get the full width, that's something. The center of here gets it all. Constrained box, only that space that it needs. So this constrained box is not full width. It gets max width, which is 1200, that's fine. Why is it expanded flex to row child 1, child 2? Mania, let me think about Mania. So you want, or you say that if we wrap the navigation bar here, the row, no, expanded flex to row child 1. So you say if we have that row expanded, but this wouldn't work, right? Because the parent is, but we can try that. So we add that here, we have a flex with 2. I keep it now in the fitted box, but it doesn't change. So if I remove this fitted box, then it would work. Then it pushes it to the left. So out of unknown reasons, this fitted box does not expect like I want to have it. Once more back, so we have that whole thing. And the center widget is the only, maybe the center widget is the problem. So what happens if we remove this one? Okay, this is not what I wanted to see. We doesn't take the full width here. So how could we say that this... We have the row here with the fitted box. Ah, here's... no. Yeah, it could be that the fitted box itself gets like a width or something. But why? Wrap the whole thing in a line. That sounds also not like the best option, but we can try that too. So you mean if we wrap this one and say like align and give it an alignment, like center left. All right, that worked. Xaxa, point on you. That works pretty well. I think the box fit didn't help, right? I tried that already, but the alignment left did work here. So just pushed it to the left. Interesting. I'm not quite sure why it works, or I'm not sure why it was a problem in the first place. Try with the box fit, and we can try also this. So box fit, and we say fill, or yeah, I think fill was the full, right? Fill the target box, this string, yeah. All right. So nothing has changed, right? It still looks correct, so that's fine. So alignment is also correct now. Does it also getting small? Yep. Also this is working. The only thing, we still don't have our padding on the left. I can do that. So if we remove the align and have box fit with fill, then it's getting in the center. Absolutely, I'm agreeing with you. I could imagine that this fitted box, it has an alignment and a directionality. So the alignment, I also told it already that it is center left, right? Which is now nearly the same. So let's update that. And if I select the fitted box, it is now center left, but it's still in the center because the space above it is centered already. So what do we have else on the fitted box? Key, clip behavior. Now, contain, I can try, I'm happy. So this is the default behavior. Yeah, we can also do that. Changing the requirements is always the best option. So fit with. No. What I could imagine, or what I think, is this center widget here pushes it to the center. So with that, if we add this here, you can see the yellow arrow here. It's super hard to see, I'm sorry for that. But you have that yellow arrow that pushes it into the center, and that from both sides. And I just think that this part here is getting narrowed by the fitted box. So it is just like a container that surrounds it things. What we could try is we get into the fitted box and we try something like we add a container and say that this has a width of double infinity. Ooh, different, but something changed. So if we remove that now, aha, here we go. That would be the alternative, because that center widget above pushed its stuff as far as it could. And as you see now, the container takes the full width that it can take, because the child is now the max width, if this makes any sense, what I'm telling. So this container here that I created right now, so this one takes now the most space that it can get, so the infinity, right? So that is the full part. And this pushes the center widget to its edges. So this edge center widget from the max width container. Maybe that center widget is also not the best idea to have here surrounding it, but I think if we remove this one, that will destroy our layout somewhere. Or not. Yeah, so now it's not centered down here anymore. Use size box instead. This is a good point. We can do that. So instead of the container, you mean, right? Is there a reason why you use size box for something like that? Is there... because it's just for the width and the height. Yeah. So you can't pass anything else inside, and it is most likely render friendly, so it's a bit faster, I can imagine. Cool. Jeez. I don't know if you can imagine how hot it is in Germany at the moment. We have like incredible 36 or 39 degrees today, or it felt like 39. So it's not just you guys who make me nervous, it's really the heat outside. Interesting enough, if we are pushing the thing smaller than expected, it doesn't take any more the full space down here. So that's why if we are pushing it further, then it's getting like this. Okay. Yeah, are you the lucky ones who have an air conditioner, or how the New Zealanders call it, a heat pump? Because in Germany we don't build some houses with that, and I think we never did. And now it's like extremely hot also in the inside. Fantastic, Nickel. I will take a look later if it is above the check. Up. I will add that, allow that. Up. So, same in Sweden. Yeah, I don't know what we have done wrong in Europe that we don't have an air conditioner system. COVID-free? Nah, not really anymore. We have also some issues there. I think we fighting with the second wave at the moment. The complete house, I'm so sad. That would be fantastic. And most likely you're from Netherlands, right? Or then your internet connection is also absolutely stunning, while we are crutching with, I don't know, we still have 4G on our mobile phones, so it's a different world. No, 3G I think we have even. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to complain too much. Alright, so Jumbotron, YouTube enthusiast, blah blah blah, that works. It looks now nice, and I think that solves also the problem with the jumping. Or so if we keep that now, yeah, looks good. And if we have a full screen, it's also fixing that. And so with that, I hope that Minnow is happy with the solution. And what I will do, I will now create a PR for that again. So we push all our changes. We should write a test for that, or? True. That is maybe an issue, that's true. How can we test that stuff now the best way? I think what we could do is that we find this row, right? So, or no, on the other side, we could take that from this responsive widget. So we take our home screen, and what we would do is we pass two different sizes inside. Yeah, that's true. Actually, it's also just layouting, right? So, but on my opinion, I just want to, what we would test is the responsive widget then. I think that makes no sense, or what would we test with that? Oh, we could just test that we have with one thing the row and with the other one the column. I think that makes maybe sense. So let's add at least one test there that I have a good feeling. So if we... You would not? Not at all? So not even taking the mobile home? No, it's just creation, that's true. It's just layouting. Yeah, I'm very happy that Rob is here at the moment, really. Thank you. It helps a lot to talk about that stuff and also discuss some things. Fantastic, Nickel. As I said, I will take a look after the stream if this is okay for you. So we have that in place. I wanted to create a PR. So let's go. We have all these changes made. So how could we take that? Fixed the wiggle bug, which is, I will add the issue in front of it. So issue, I think it's the fourth issue or the first issue, I'm not sure. Actually, it's the fourth issue. Fantastic. So issue 4. And then sorry for that. Okay. So review. Hey Rodrigo. Oh. So saved you. Sorry, thank you. So my first sneeze on the stream. Thanks guys. So implement contact us button. Oh yeah, that is also important. We have to do that in sooner or later. Now I will commit the whole thing and push the whole thing up. So, and because we have our own branch now with that fitted box thing, now we can add here inside of pull request again. We have now our branch that we have, and we want to compare the pull request with something else. And here you see our base branch, so where we want to go into is our master branch, and the other branch that we are working on is our fitted box fit. And now we have the possibility to add some comments. So this should fix, or we change now the direction of the widgets so that we show first we show on desktop screen. What do we show there? Yeah, we show a column. And on mobile screen, no, directly opposite, a row, and on mobile we show it as a column. And what I will also do now is I will add now the direction, the widgets, and what I will do is I will provide some screenshots, because not everyone who comes into something like that will automatically understand the scenario. I will add the 2 screenshots that we have. So that is the first one. Whoop. And the second one is in a smaller size. So here we go. And with that, I think it's not so much that it is heavy on the system performance. It is more about how many opportunities and options you give to other developers. So if you surround that size box instead of a size box into a container, you get a lot of more possibilities in a container. You can have decorations, you can have elevations, you could put some other stuff inside in the child, and so on and so forth. So with a size box, you are being a bit restrictive to the next developer who's coming, and you say, you have only the width and you have only the height. So if you want to have more, you are responsible for that. So it is more, how do you call it? A safety measurement in that area. I think that would make sense somehow. Direction, is it wrong? Now the alignment. Okay, so now we have the 2 images and I add them so that we have this in place, and I think that looks pretty good. If we show in the preview, we have the 2 images, that's cool. And what I will do is I create a PR. So now you can also have a look into it and you can check the files here, and we can go once through it so that we have at least made a default. So we change that to desktop home. Correct. I think a good part of that, and it's a bit of a X-course, sorry for that, but it's called defensive programming. And I think that is something that is sometimes really cool to learn, and it makes a lot of sense to talk about it at least. So that means you try to improve the quality so that you have not the problems to get yourself into issues. And usually it's, okay, this is now a wrong language, of course, but it's like you assert everything. So you try to break the stuff as soon as possible, and you try that other people can't break your stuff in any way without that they change it themselves. Something like that. Yeah, makes always sense. As I said, that we maybe make also a session there, or I make maybe a video for that. Yep. And maybe this is a good timing to make a little shout out. I don't know if you know the YouTube channel from Robert, actually. So maybe this is also something that I can share with you. Here, this guy, Mr. Shadow Fate. Okay. And I will also add that to the string link. Here we go. Exactly. And so now we have the desktop, we have the mobile, we have the different homes, right? So this is fine. Did we have changed anything? No, that's all right. No worries. That is a very cool name, you know, Mr. Shadow something. If you search for myself, and I don't know, most people will have already seen that, then if you check for the link here inside, then you will find the good old Lion Ranger. And I don't know where it comes from. It's like, I think as a schoolboy or something, I was jumping around with that name, and then it's still there, and I don't get rid of it. So I thought about to recreate the channel and something like that, but this would be too much hassle, so I just keep it. I have to live with that till the end of my YouTube career, I think. Okay, here we made some changes. Yeah, this is just the font. We removed the color here. That's the animation text, okay, with that fitted box and so on. Yep, that's fine. The flexible. You're very welcome, Adora. Yeah, it's maybe my totem. I think what you can try to, if you are big enough, you could try to get a reach to the YouTube supporters or YouTube supporting thing, but for me it's still, I'm too small, and I don't know how hard it is to get that. So what do we have here else? We have some sized box. Okay, this is that stuff, and I think that's also fine. Fantastic. So what I will do now is I will also add a reviewer. No, I can't set a reviewer, because nobody else is working on the project. I wanted to add Minu, that he knows how it works. So can I link the issue? Yeah, so I have to do that here. This one, yeah. Good. And now we can wait maybe till the next stream, and then we will fix that finishing off. And that makes already a lot of sense, I think. Cool. Lion Ranger is amazing. It's my absolute favorite. I don't know, when I played Warcraft 3 in active, like in tournaments and so on, that was my name. But that is a long time ago. Alright, and so because that branch is still existent, we can now just jump to master and could work on something else, right? So if we don't need the changes that we have in this pull request, we can now work on something completely different, right? And for that, we could check the issues, what is missing. So I would also take a look into Strappy sooner or later. And we have still a lot of time. I would say we can try that, or we can start with Rive or Lottie, that we get somehow a cool animation instead of having that image that we have currently. So currently we have just that here, this plain image up here. It would be good that we have here an animation. That would be an option. Or what we also could do is, what would be the, yeah, that we maybe start with Strappy or Strappy or Strappy, I don't know how do you call it or pronounce it, which is a headless CMS. And I think for Strappy we already decided So my idea would be that we combine them a little bit, because if we look for pub.dev, I think, is there already a package for Strapi? Yeah, there is. Okay, so how popular it is in May released. So we could work on two things. Ah, yeah, voting. That's a good point. We can vote for that. Actually, we can vote for that. So I made something wrong here. Okay, cool. Open. So let's see the cloud bot. Creating. Hey James, nice to see you around. Creating a poll. Yep. And my favorite poll, what should we do next? So where are we? Animation or the good old continuous integration we have also open, right? So CI/CD is also something that we can do. So if we take a look here in our issues, that's the thing, I don't know Strapi either. So the only thing is that I know is that it is a headless CMS, and headless CMS means more or less you don't. So a CMS is something like WordPress, right? So you can provide content. 2 minutes for Code Magic. Yeah, so a CI/CD Code Magic was my plan for that. So I will add that too as a voting possibility. And the last thing is the animation, this part, and yeah, headless. So, and we start that. Yeah, I know I worked already with Code Magic, and I worked with that on my other apps too. So they are also integrated right away to, for example, to the website, no, to the App Store. So that works fantastically. And I made already a video for that. It is very old, one of my first videos, but that was pretty impressive. So you have the chance now to vote for Strapi, or I called it animation, Code Magic, or headless. Headless means headless CMS, and maybe I can share it like that. Up. Voila. There is almost no setup for web compared to mobile. Yeah, is it? But the problem is we don't want to push it somewhere, right? Our CI/CD would have to run the tests and after that push it to our GitHub repository, right? I don't know how easy that will be. But we will have a look. Okay, so 2 people are already for Code Magic, or 3 people. You have to vote with that exclamation mark, vote, and then writing the name. It is always a little bit confusing. And then exactly, so we have already 2 votes at the moment for Code Magic. Fantastic, Saba, yep. Okay, so a lot of you want to know more about CI/CD. Ah, you publish it on the Code Magic server then. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so you got me. I think most of you, besides of Namecheap, who works for this channel, or she works with the channel or works with me and she can't vote. So you have to make exclamation mark vote and then your wish, Namecheap. All right, so let's see. Code Magic. So let me think. For that, I will need a new browser, I think. And I think I can close that poll off and complete it. Here we go. And let's go to codemagic.io. So I don't know if you know or how much you know about CI/CD. I don't know if you have seen the video from me, but CI/CD is actually, you want that your code that you commit to your GitHub repository or somewhere else is automatically used and will be pushed right away there where it is needed. Yep, exactly. We can try that actually. So that means we have currently our MD Weber GitHub IO. The best thing or the best idea would be that, or what I would like to achieve is that we run our tests, we push to our master channel for example. So if our pull request is finished, we want to automatically run our CI/CD, our pipeline, and then it should be at the end automatically deployed in our on a web server somewhere, so that we can call it right away. So far, an update or so. Okay. Then it makes maybe sense to talk about that. So the website is here. So cool. For that, I will go to CodeMagic.io because I think CodeMagic will be the tool to use. I could also use GitHub Actions, which is also the same part, or there is also, I think, does Firebase provide CI/CD? I don't think so. There is Bitbucket, I think they have also a CI/CD solution, and so on and so forth. There are tons of these parts, but CodeMagic is that why important for us, because CodeMagic is really specific for Flutter, or has been very specific for Flutter, and is now more and more important for web, mobile, and so on and so forth. So they're getting better and better every time. And I think if you are following Flutter all along, you will find CodeMagic everywhere. They have such a strong marketing, and I think the parent company, you see it down here, that by Nevercode, it makes the triage work for Flutter. And they funded, or yeah, helped with the last hackathon, exactly. So you see I get now this login here, and what I will do is I will log in with GitHub. Let's hope that I don't have to do anything. Yeah, fantastic. So you find all my old apps that I already did with it. And what we want to do is now we want to create, I think, a new build. I didn't use this for a long time, so don't. It could be that we make some mistakes here. So Teams is fine, that is me, all right. So we want to add it from a custom source, and now we need our repository URL. So for that, we switch over to our GitHub. Here we go. Code. And I will take here, hopefully I have registered already our SSH key, but maybe I don't, so let's see. I can also search it, right, somewhere. If I'm connected with that, then I can search for Flutter website or something. Where was it? Overview of your apps, builds, teams. Nah, that's not it. Yes, CodeMagic is free for 500 build minutes a month. And that is quite a lot, so you have to add there a lot. Thank you, Robert, that's absolutely correct. So yeah, CodeMagic is absolutely free till 500 build minutes a month. And you can do with that like around, I would say 50 till 100, depends on what you are doing, right? Builds in a month. Explain tutorials and the website. So here we have now, because I needed to select my GitHub account, then I could find all my repositories in the GitHub. And one of them is Flutter Explained website, and we can set up build. So and with this, we're coming to this nice little app or screen, and this comes now with the newest version. And I didn't even seen that before, so it seems a bit new for me. So it is a Flutter app actually. We don't have an iOS module, no Android module, no widget, Dart package, no, it's just an app. So, and that's it already to set it up, more or less. So the most stuff is already done here. And what you can say, for example, you can set a maximum build duration. And that is very important because let's assume you would have a test that is running indefinitely, for example, or you have some problems made that runs indefinitely. Then with this here, you cut the build off, so your free build minutes are getting not used for that. Also, if we are doing this code badge is also very important for us, because what we can do is we can add this now to our GitHub repository. So we would give here in our README file. You see that sometimes that people have these badges on top of their file, so I will do that the same. So just adding this CodeMagic build status. And if we see the preview, you have this unknown here. I don't know where this green part comes from, but that's okay. So, and this changes to green when the build is successful, for example. And then you know your application is somewhere deployed successfully already. So, and I updated the README, so added the code magic flag. Now, how do you call it? Badge, I think, or ribbon. So, and I committed directly inside of master. You should never do that, but yeah, I will do that right now. Okay, so now we have that ribbon up here. So let's go back to code magic again. And now you have multitude of things. So the first thing that you can read here is that you can also create a YAML configuration for your builds. So if you don't want to use that nice little UI on top of here, you can use a YAML configuration to set up your Flutter projects. Then you bring your build pipeline into code. Then we have here configure as code. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talked about. Then we can change some stuff. You can change the application icon, you can archive it, you can delete it, and so on. We don't want to. And some tips that we don't need at the moment. And here on the main screen, on this part here, I could start my screen brush for that. So this cool tool, hopefully I find, yeah, cool. So this part here will be our part where we want to work on. So now we have here, for example, build triggers. These triggers are are more or less our hooks, where we say we look very curious on, for example, a specific branch. And as soon as this branch has done something, we want to trigger our pipeline. So we need to find a trigger that executes our pipeline for the future. And here, for example, we pass to everything at the moment. So every branch getting tracked, and as soon as I'm pushing something on a branch, it automatically will run the pipeline. So, and I don't want to do that. What I want to do, or what I want to have, is actually I want that only on master. So whenever we push on master, then this pipeline should run. And as you can see, here is our more information. So we can say we trigger on a push. So when we push code, new code to our master branch, then this will happen. Then we have on pull request update. So whenever something changes in the pull request, then this happens. Or on the tag creation. So in my opinion, I want to have that on a pull request update. I hope this is correct what I'm telling now, but when I create a pull request from my branch to master, then it should run this thing. Let's see if this works. After that, we say save, and we can close that off. Now we have environment variables. If you have some things that, like a database that you want to access, or Firebase storage keys, or something like that, that you don't want to save inside of your GitHub repository, then you can add them here as global variables and make them accessible to the different parts where they need it in the build process. You can use them also for APK keys and so on. So we don't need them at the moment. Then we have dependency caching. I would highly recommend you putting them on, if this is possible, because it will automatically understand where the cache lies, and it don't try always to download all the dependencies that it needs to build your app. Yes, I will remember that, that's true. But we can also manually push them. But at the moment, I don't really use Code Magic so much, so I think that is fine for now. On the other hand, I think it's a bad practice to explain something and don't make it production ready, so you are right. So if you're using one of these, it could be very quickly that your build minutes are running out, because every push to that pull request will automatically lead to a build run, and this could consume your build running minutes very quickly. So I will keep that off, and we will trigger the push then manually. So whenever something is pushed, we want to build our stuff manually. So I think up here there is a clickable thing, start your first build. Okay, so I keep that off. And then dependency caching is good. Then we have testing. So this is asking you about different parts that you can test. For master to conserve build, yeah. It's because of this here, yeah. So if you say if I'm just using master, it would work out of the box. I think I have to trigger on push or something. Trigger on push. Okay, so let's use that. Okay, so for the testing, we have a lot of things. So number one is stop build if test fails. For everyone who's working production, this is a very important flag. In my opinion, you should always have that. Another thing that I will add is the enable Flutter Analyzer. What happens now is it will call the analyzer. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Robert. I am also not 100% sure with that. With the build triggers, always. I will try there around till I find whatever I want. So if I have here, for example, master, and now it's saved, hopefully. No, still not. Include. Okay, whatever. But here in the test part, we want to increase our quality, right? So we want to run our tests, the Flutter tests, and we want to run Flutter Analyzer. And if you remember from the last time, we had the analysis options, right? So if we make mistakes in linting, this will give us the hint here, but it will automatically fail also our tests. And there are a lot of discussions in a lot of companies if that should fail the tests or if it should not fail the tests. In my opinion, it should, but yeah, it's just that you know that there will be a lot of discussions in the future. Show press. Here down here, show patterns. Okay, match everything, we don't want that. Match any character in brackets, matches any character in brackets. Between the characters. I thought I had that in the beginning or not. So if I had here master star and I pressed save. Okay, I will do two things. Number one, it is too dark. So I will change it to a light theme so everyone can read a little bit better. Then number two is I will go back to my app. Flutter web, there we go. Finish build setup. Look at that, way better to read. So build settings, so we want to add a pattern. So we say master, and now I say add pattern. I think I didn't see that button before. So now I press saved, and here we go. Here's also the setting updated. Okay, that explains. So here we want to add the analyzer and the Flutter tests. And what happens now is we call this argument. Yeah, it was pretty dark, right? So if we check here, what would happen here in that part is that Flutter analyze arguments would go into the terminal, for example, and would execute Flutter analyze for you. Analyze. So if this is happening, all the linting is getting checked, and now we don't find any issue. So to make you an example for a linting issue would be, for example, we would remove here widget. So now it's getting yellowish because it still works, right? We just don't pass the return parameter. So what happens now is that our linter is getting a problem. If we run now Flutter Analyze, we should hopefully find no issue. Okay, so this is also wrong. So we have to read that once more. Why is Flutter Analyze? I thought it is exactly that. File code comments to customize static analyzer. It's the analysis options or not? Because it was a warning, not an error. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so in our analysis options, what I did right now was an warning, not an error, right? So with that, it was still possible. A variable car, let's try that, var car. So the value of local variable car isn't used. And now we try it again, let's see. No issue found. Wait, where I am? I'm in any folder of the world, so that is the problem. If I would do that inside of the Flutter Explained website directory, I can clear that. And now we try it again. Wow, look at that. So many issues. Fantastic, 19 errors. So that would mean when we're coming into our code magic part, so this part here, then we would fail now with 19 errors, and this would automatically jump into stop build if tests failed. So that means all of these have to be resolved before we can go further, actually. So that means maybe it's a good point to start fixing them. So prefer const with constant constructor in frank loading Dart. Okay, so I think the frank loader, I just imported them the last time. So you see there is a lot of broken stuff. Yeah, and we need most likely everywhere where it's getting complaints, a const in front of it. Is it a warning just? I think, that's a good point. I don't know. I think it's just if it's an error. I hope it fails, and yes, I think it fails actually. We could try that with a little test, and then we just see. I mean, at the moment it's anyway broken, and then we just test it around, but I think it will break. Then we have the test argument, which is argument, says us always what happens here in the terminal. So this happens, it runs Flutter test, more or less. And now we could also add some additional things, like Ayush told us that we can say the platform is Chrome, for example. So we could add this -- platform Chrome to this arguments list here. Platform equals Chrome. And this should execute a Chrome browser and run it there. Here we have then the possibility to say on which device it should run the test. So on an iOS device, Android emulator, or an AWS farm. I will stick now with an Android emulator. I think that's fine. Oh, it's a good question if this will now work actually, but I don't know if it's supported by, yeah, the Flutter driver test, you're right. So if I would add this enable driver test, then this would select one of these three. So this is okay. And here we have also the arguments again. So if we want to add some custom arguments, we can do that here. We'll press save and close it off. The build part. Do we have any issues? No, all tests are passing. Fantastic. So the build issue, or the build part. Here we can select the different versions that where we want to work on. And here we have to be a bit careful because our Flutter version at the moment is beta, at least, because we need good old web builder, right? So then we have the Xcode version. I just keep that always on latest. Cocoa Pods default is fine. We can also work on master. I'm happy with that. At the moment works. And now we want to build it for the platforms, not for iOS, not for Android. We want to run it for web. And macOS is also not part of it. Oh, that's a long name. George Eduardo Barentes Goyjai. All right. Welcome to the channel. So we say we want to have it for web at the end. So our result that we receive at the end of the build pipeline is a web structure. We don't need an Android build format for that now, but here we could change that, for example, to an AAB file, which is recommended from the Android team. Then we have the different modes that we can't use. And you can see here we can change between release and profile, and we could also add different arguments to the running of the web build. But I think release would be fine. So save. And we can also close that one off. And the last part is publish. Now in the publish, one is we receive an email where the contents are inside. Yeah. Then CodeMagic static sites, and I think this is exactly what the I have to drink something. So this is what Robert told us, that we can push it to a web server of CodeMagic, and then we have our website immediately there. So I enable that for now, and I have to pass a subdomain inside. I'm working on CodeMagic at the moment to pass our website directly to it, that we get automatically always an updated version somewhere that we can always see immediately. So a good Flutter page subdomain for CodeMagic would be maybe Flutter Explained, or Flutter Explained, or yeah, I don't know. And then we can find that part if we are searching for it. So we add that, we have the name. It is amazing. So if you even if you want to run your test somewhere and you want to make sure that whatever you push somewhere is getting done, that's fantastic. No underscore, of course. Any other wishes? Yeah, that's true. All right. So that means these pushing and everything and these running tests and so forth, every bigger project has that. And if you ever want to run into a real project, you will get the CI/CD pipelines everywhere. And one example that I can give you is the Flutter project itself. They have something, if you go into the pull requests, and I can take my own at the moment, you will find down here always this big list here with all that different stuffs, with these one failing 83 results. All this is part of their build pipeline. That means different devices are running the tests, and as you see, device labs, framework tests, and so on and so forth. All that is part of their build pipeline. Is one of them red, you are not allowed to merge your PR. So for example, at the moment Flutter build is broken, and there is also the description. And if we go to details, we jump right away to their build solution or to their informations. And up here you find the red bar, right? And it says tree is closed. That if the tree is closed, we are not allowed to merge something inside. At least not till the tree is open again. So it's quite interesting. Bigger projects usually use these CI/CD things. And the only thing that you can, or if you start with the CI/CD stuff, it is always like, if you want to merge to master and you have a problem in your code that exists already, you are not allowed to merge something inside. Okay, so I saved that now. We have now flutterexplained.codemagic.app. And what I can say, we could also say publish artifacts even if the tests are failing, which I don't want, because we anyway break or finish the pipeline as soon as the tests are failing. Okay, and oh, we have also a GitHub release. What is that? On tag creation. Oh, cool. So I don't know what is that, but that looks also interesting. Have to take a look there in the future. And also what you could also do is sending you a Slack message as soon as you have published. What I really like, you can connect it with the Google Play Store, where you directly push it as a new app version on your Play Store, or the App Store Connect, where you put it to App Store as soon as you are ready. Okay, that's it pretty much with our build pipeline. And thanks to CodeMagic, we were there pretty fast. And I will make this builds public. And I think, yeah, the repository is anyway public, so that is fine. So that means now everyone can take a look into that. Okay, so let's start your first build and let's see how it works. So the branch will be master in my case, right? Or we could also run the fitted box with fix. I think let's use that branch here because, can I? No? I'm not allowed because of my own restrictions, I think. So if I remove that here and I just add star, go with master. All right, I can't even select another one. I don't know why. All right, true. So then we can say we don't need enable remote access. With that you have access to, or you can get with SSH, you can access the master machine that tries to run your build at the moment. And now with all that selected, default workflow, start new build. And now it looks a bit funky. On the right side we see now our console that gets all the information that runs at the moment. So it prepares a build machine, and so on and so forth. And on the left side you get an overview about the steps that are taken and the duration. So now we can just watch a little bit what happens here. So it checks out the Flutter channel master, it switches, it makes Flutter upgrade for you, and this could be even faster for you because some people don't have a very fast internet connection like me. So as you see, this takes now for them 5 seconds, and for me it took like what, two or 3 minutes. So yeah. So now during we wait till it's done. Decreasing your total free time. At this step, it starts decreasing your total free time. Yes, indeed. So at the moment, now I got it, yeah. So that means at the moment, as soon as it starts to build, then it decreases that free timings, exactly. And the build takes usually, I think they use MacBook Pros since version 2 or something. So since then, I would say a build usually takes around 3 till 5 minutes. Complete run through for Android and iOS. I don't know for web, we will see. Robert, is that something that you think is correct? So at this point, how long is your build is running actually? If the build fail and it's their fault, it will not decrease the minutes. Okay, makes sense. But usually it's not their fault. 2 till 3, okay. So something around that. As I said, the last time when I worked with CodeMagic was a half a year ago, I would say. So they improved a lot of things. So you see, fetching the app resources took them 4 seconds. After that, installing the dependencies 20 seconds. So this is like a get pub get, right? So get all the dependencies. Oh, I forgot something. And did we? No, we don't have a creator yet. So set enable to true. That's good. We test the whole thing. So now analyzes clone happens. iOS with Firebase with 40 minutes? Really? It's crazy. So you see we got a lot of errors here. Issues found. Does it go further or does it break? It's going further. So that means as long as these are infos and not quite real errors, then it will be happy with it to build it further. Exactly, Big Boss. You got it. So let's see where we're coming to. So we are running the pub-get again for the Flutter build package and so on. I can turn up the music a little bit. So the thing is, all the steps that are in this build pipeline can be reproduced manually locally. So that means when you are going here inside and you receive an error, for example in the testing, I think the easiest way to enable that would be, I think it fails on that. It's just because they are not errors. Actually, it's just an info, right? The info prefer const constructor. If I would change that, so for example, I would go to the analysis option somewhere here, and I would now say prefer const. Is that correct? I have to check once more. Prefer const constructors. And I would say error. And I will go back to the Frank. That's not how it works. I think we have to pass an object inside or something. Let's see. Bad, yep. But I want to set the linting rules. So we can push that to errors. It's a group. Okay. So it's a group, so we need to make errors. And after that we have prefer const constructor, and here we make it true. I hope I make that correct. Rules are, let's see. If we go back to our Frank, how does it look now? Still looks like valid point. So if we run now Flutter analyze. No, it's still an info. So how did they do that? If we go to pub.dev to the good old, what did I use? The package lint. There we go. And the good thing is the repository is open, so we can just take a look. There are these. And we have analyzer errors. Ah, but not the linting rules. Linting rules are just informative. Okay, so it's more the analyzer part. Missing return warning, and we can make it an error. We have the linter here. Could we do something like the following? Analyzer. Instead of true, make it error. So here. Yeah, somehow this is just a warning. I think we have to provide that more as an error. Don't know if this works like here, but now we have errors. Then we could add this, for example. Just give it a second. In the meantime, we are looking into our part. Aha, the tests are broken. Oh, maybe I don't even have to do so much, because Flutter analyzes found errors or issues. So I think that explains everything, right? So we don't have to make that horrible stuff with the analyzer configurations here. Woohoo! Finally some errors. I tell you, errors are always the best. The thing is now just we have to fix them somehow. And in order to do that, and because it's just linting errors, I will do again something bad. I will push everything directly in master quickly, because I think that is a bit quicker. Why? Oh no, let's work correctly. I will create a new branch that I call mdweber fix. How do you call these things? Linting issues. So. And inside of here, we want to work correctly. We are good people, right? Good developers. And I don't want to show you off something that is bad. I'll close off this. Why do I don't see now anything here? I tried to restart the Dart analyzer. Oh, and I think I made here a mistake somewhere. Package, lint analyzes. Ah. Better. Here we go. So I can already start writing everywhere const, because yeah, I have to fix that. Start analyzer. Restart again. Here we go. Don't judge me for this class. I know it is not beautiful. It was my first try to make an animation somewhere. So const and also here. Let's see, last but not least, what is your problem? Type and node public APIs. Judge that. Okay, whatever. Dart analyzer, so test it again. So this is exactly the same as we would go here inside and say Dart analyze, just that you know that. It's just because I'm lazy to write and I always write analyze wrong, then this is the issue. So, okay, so fixed linting issues. We commit the whole thing, we push it to our new branch. We first have to rescue it inside of our website, that is here. So we compare the pull request, we create the pull request. And I know this sounds now a bit weird, but why you would do that is because actually you would never be able to push to master. And actually this is maybe something that we should set up at the moment. So that means, or maybe not, maybe you stick with that first, but usually in a real project, you would have never the possibility to push directly into master. So you would always have to create a PR, and the PR should be mergeable to master. If this makes sense, or at least I know it this way, and I would recommend it for everyone. So I confirm that right now. I hope there is no problem with that. It's just writing everywhere const. And we have no tests for it, so it should be fine. And with that, we have also a bit more. Exactly. I think it's possible here in settings somewhere. And I think you have that in branches. And you have here the branch protection rules and the branch master, right? And then require pull request reviews before merging, and so on and so forth. So you can add all the different stuffs. So like status checks to pass before merging. So that means if we would connect, for example, GitHub Actions or CodeMagic with GitHub, so we would get the information directly in GitHub if the build was successful, and only if it was successful, we would be able to merge, for example. Required commits, including administrator, allow force push, allow deletion. So yeah. This is what we can also add everything. So required sign-ins, I think I can just create that. No, I can't, but you get the point, I think. Okay, back to our CodeMagic stuff. Let's see where we are here. So the linting issues are now gone. And what I will do now is, that took now 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So the first time when it runs, it takes a bit longer. But because we added this dependency caching, it will be now faster in the second run. So now we do the same thing again. We take master, right? Because it changed. Default workflow and start. And we wait again. What is that? Oh, look at that. It even connected directly. I'm wrong. Sorry for that. So you see that yellow dot here. With that, you get the information if the build runner, if the build gets any issues. I think that comes while I make that public. And the other thing is also we have here now that mark, which says us that the build currently is failing. I didn't know that this is connected right away. This is also pretty cool, I have to admit. Oh, status queued, okay. I can look at commits. That would be here. Yes. Cool. So you can see that build is failed. We can go to the details, get all the information from the build where it is failed, right? So right away we see directly, okay, it took 4 minutes. We have all that stuff here. Took a while to break. And now let's see if the other one is green. Yeah. Indeed it does, yes. So as long as it is your problem or your problem that you didn't fix your tests, you will get also removed your time. Which is good and bad, right? Because actually it is not their fault that we made a problem here, that we destroyed our tests. But for us, it is a very good, like a shield that we are not able to make some mistakes with the builds, right? So if we didn't fix our test or we forgot something else to do, with that, we will understand that. And usually in companies or bigger companies, they try, or they usually do it and create their own build pipeline. That means they really build all the Linux servers that are running, and whenever you are pushing to a branch, then it will create automatically the timing and so on. And I think the build times in CodeMagic are also not necessarily expensive. I think they are like $10 for 500, 5,000. I don't want to tell something wrong, so let's just look at that. CodeMagic. And how is the pricing? Here we go. So this is built manually, Mac Mini, Mac Pro. Okay. Oh, it's different than I thought. Yep, that is also possible. The problem is with GitHub Actions, it is very cool and it works nearly the same way. So if you take here a look, we have that Actions part here. And GitHub Actions works nearly the same like CodeMagic, but it is completely community related. So all of these workflows, if you want to work with Flutter, you have to find yourself and you have to hope that a community project already made that for you. So it is pretty difficult. And yes, for GitHub Actions, that is completely free for public repositories. And it has also some other benefits. I think I would use it for Java and all the other stuff, but for Flutter, CodeMagic, it's just too good. But now I'm a bit confused why the testing are taking so long with fetching logs. Is it somehow... Ah, okay, green. Amazing. So with that, I received an email and we have published it somewhere. We cleaned it up and now I can access this site, or let's say we all can access it. Actually, we can try to break the CodeMagic server. And if we are joining there, hopefully we see now our nice little website with all the changes that we made, right? So this is not the part here already. On web, it's a bit laggy, but that's fine. So here we don't have the changes yet, but if we now merge our stuff from... Why is it running again? Because I merged into master, so it automatically created. I once executed the build myself, and now because I'm pushed to master before, it created another trigger. Yeah. All right. So if we merge now, I think I can cancel this one because it makes no sense. It just costs money or time in our case. So what I want to do now is I want to push once more into the branch, right? So we have the other thing that we opened up. So if I go to GitHub, search for the Flutter website. No, this is not it. Here we go. Yes, well, in a bigger project, you would always use something like CodeMagic before. Because it would run all your tests, it would make sure that everything really works. You can also connect it with end-to-end tests, with all the other stuff. You could also create like a AWS server farm. So you say you put that on different mobile devices and test it there, and so on and so forth, before you get it published. And yeah, so usually you would try to push it first through the pipeline before you push it completely. Okay, so what I will do is I squash and merge now this nice little PR that we have with our file changes. I hope you are happy with that. So we squash it, we are happy. And if I don't do anything, right? We merged it into master now. We can check in the code. We have now this yellow dot here. And if we are jumping to the details, we can see now that this build is automatically triggered. So we don't have to do anything, right? We don't have to start up the application. We don't have to check out code. We don't have to care about testing or anything. It will directly jump right away into CodeMagic's code, running everything through. And at the end, we got our result on our website, hopefully. So that means if we are here on the website, right? Till now, it still looks like that. But if we are running through that whole thing, after that, it is released with the newest version. And I really like that approach that we say this time it is completely fine to be on CodeMagic's website, because we just want to make sure that our web is really working. And when we are ready to really publish and release our stuff, we can still push it to MD Weber GitHub IO, or we can push it even to my real server that we have at the moment. At least this is the idea at the moment. So let's make some sports in the meantime and wait till this is running again. I reload once more. That fetching logs makes me nervous. I think somehow that is a bit broken. Maybe I don't have complete access to it. So yeah, you see here it is already done. No, this is another build. Huh. Let's see, here we are. Free rollout here. GitHub is godsend, yeah. I think GitHub and GitLab is like the two parts that are fighting each other all the time. And also GitLab has a CI/CD tool. Ah, didn't know that. So you see? Yeah, so GitLab is like GitHub. It works also on the technology Git, but it's like the competitor. So what in the meantime I can fix some of these parts. And I got news from my icon color stuff. So Hixie made himself as a reviewer and started to review a little bit. So there we have to catch up and do also some work in the next week to fix our issue on Flutter so that we can work also on that a bit more, which would be fine. And then let's see. How did you like that session so far? So we talked a lot about the web, right? We've worked on that, how it's go further here. Now we talked about CI/CD, which was not really planned. And we challenged a lot, I think. We're coming further and further. It's looking good. But the problem is, I think the website will still take a while till it's getting production ready. So what I would like to see next. I would like to get somehow my blog inside, so it would be great to have here a link or something that shows our next page. Also what we could use is a contact form, right? Because we have that contact us part. I don't know if we need a real footer, because I think the website would be more interesting. Like that we have a real footer, like a real website. So I don't know, is a good example, for example, Twitter. I don't know if it has a footer. No, it doesn't have a footer. Let's take a real website like New York Times. So hopefully down here we will find a footer. Yeah, so like something like that, where you have all the links that are important somehow in one place. So you find all more, living, and so on and so forth. Exactly. What happens here in CodeMagic is only the stuff that you would do on your own machine. So you can see we run the command flutter test and then machine, and then we just added the platform Chrome. So this is nothing else as you would go here in the terminal and say flutter test and would just run that. Without the I could also add the other parameters, but just for explanation, you would just run this. So it runs your tests that you have wrote before. So test ID through. I think if we take a deeper look here in that, if I press here on the result, we also get the parts which are tested. So you see with our Macs with container tests that we written the last time, they are both green, and also the responsive widget tests are done. So also this is possible. So your tests are getting run and you get all the informations down here where you can see them, how you fix them. What I find interesting is that this testing part takes complete 2 minutes. It sounds a bit too long in my opinion. I don't know where the bottleneck is. So if you want to improve that, you could also search for things and optimize that. But I could imagine that because we are running it on the platform Chrome, it has to start up a Chrome browser first before it can run the rest. Then building the web, publishing the whole thing, and clean up. Fantastic. Okay, so with that, if we are going back to our link, and I didn't wrote it as a link, so it is HTTPS and then this part, so like that, it's maybe easier. And if we're going there, now we should see our upgrade, our This is Chrome is a bit better for that. Clean that, reload. And now we should get our solution, or not? It could be that our DNS server is not fast enough. So what I will do is open that up here as a private incognito mode. So here it works already. So now it will automatically change to a row. We have our spacing. In web we can't make it even smaller. And we can access it from every device. So if I'm going now on my mobile phone, and I will try that also right away, or even better, I can try it with an emulator, then you can also see it. So we are open. Yeah, I think testing makes a lot of sense to take a look into, especially if you want to do it inside of a production ready app, or even though if you want to do it for yourself, because you learn a lot about technology if you understand testing, you know, then you see how it works. You have to understand your code. You can't just write tests. It's not possible, because without understanding the code, it's really important. I really try to finish my testing series soon, and then we can go further with that. And then we will talk about unit testing, about mocking, which is also a very big part of it. Yes, I'm in. Go. Fantastic. So mocking, which is very important. Dependency injection, we want to talk about why it is necessary, why it makes sense to do it, and so on. Yeah. .app. So let's see if... Oh, it's really fast at the moment in writing, so I'm already... Did it? Oh no. Flutter. Explained. .code magic. .app. Search. So get rid of some stuff. And here we go. So it's maybe not perfect and we can improve still, but it works already. And the cool thing is now, because it's a PWA, we can also add that directly to our home screen. And I will say, yes, add that please. And what happens now, it reacts like an app. So that means if I'm searching for my home screen, where is it? Oops. Yep. So if I'm searching now for the save recipe, no, save recipe is something else. Exactly. And testing is always a good thing, and especially in a PWA is a file, or it is like an app. It is a website that is understood as as an app right away. Start simple. Yeah, it would just take a while. So where BATM, right? So I don't know why it didn't take it now. That's a bit sad. App, we miss you. All right, don't do it. So add it to your home screen. Well, usually it should be now as an icon as an app right away on your screen. But somehow my device here doesn't do it. I don't know why. A little bit sad. But I don't know, it's anyway pretty slow, so yeah. In any case, it is pretty cool that it works right away, and we have already that inside of our Chrome browser. It looks everywhere beautiful, or at least as good as we could right now. So I think the solution is pretty good. And we will work further on that in the future. Yeah, the problem is with the testing series that is really it grabs a lot of stuff, and you have to write first something that you can test, right? So that's also a bit tricky sometimes. All right, so thank you. We can also, yeah. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today. I think that was a fantastic second session, and I really hope you got something from that. It was quite complex. We did a lot of different stuff, but still it was a cool thing. And we have now a CI/CD for our website, and we can see the website on our mobile device. We have it now on side of our Chrome browser, if we have one open, where we can directly use it. We have the possibility to get it on Mac. And we talked a little bit about Git, branching, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much for joining, and I think we see us the next time. We will have a stream tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday, I think. So I think we will not have a stream tomorrow. At least I don't feel like one, because I still have to finish the video for Tuesday. So I think it will be on Wednesday, the next stream. Whoops, if I'm not completely mistaken there. All right. So thanks once more, guys. It was fantastic. We see us. Anyway, thank you so much for your support in general, right? Because our channel at the moment is climbing crazy, right? So I can't even describe how good and how nice it is to see you all here in the live streams, that you really watch me coding, because I thought always it's a bit boring. But it's very good to see you all here, and it makes a lot of fun to work with you. So thanks again. Thank you very much, and we see us soon. Bye, everyone.